first?
Well, let's start with the first one we saw. We saw Da Vinci, right? So Da Vinci, that was listed. What was that listed for?
Yeah, jeez.
I've got it here. Hold on. It's over here. So Da Vinci. Okay, so Da Vinci was listed for 1.289.
Yep.
And it changed on March 26th to 1.199. So you don't
So a little more than a month ago, they lowered the price
reduction,
almost 100,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I think what that probably was an overshoot, right? It was a nice home, but I just think that yeah, they might have reached a little bit. You know, again, it's almost a guessing game to when you're going to put your house on the market. Where am I going to be? Am I too high, too low? Am I in the middle? Especially when things are moving so quickly. So, yeah, obviously they got, what could have happened? And we won't know until it closes. But sometimes
it's pending, right? Right now it's pending, right?
Yeah, so it hasn't closed yet. But here's what could have happened. Sometimes when you lower, maybe the second number, right? 1, 2, now it's 1, 1. Just that one little movement in number opens the property up to a different group of buyers
because of where they set their price range, right?
Correct. So yeah, so a buyer may say, I'm not going to buy a house more than 1.2 million in Colleyville. And so if there were buyers doing that, and I would imagine there's probably more buyers doing that and lower than that and higher, right? So when you put your home in that price point, you now have to be someone is looking above that price to see yours, right? Because it shows it's a number they set and down. So they don't see anything above that number because they've capped it. So if you do that, if you put your price, and the home may be very well worth it, but it just didn't get seen by the right buyer,
right,
or the right buyers, right? Because your pool of buyers is going to be greater the lower the price is. Right? You have more buyers that can afford it. So by lowering that second number to a 1, now it appeared in more searches for buyers that are looking. And so, but what could have happened was that one change might have sparked a frenzy. Because if there's a lot of buyers, let's say there's 10 buyers looking in Colleyville under $1.2 million for a house like that, fairly new, 5-bedroom. And now all of a sudden, boom, it pops up on the searches because they lowered the price point by 1 digit roughly. And now a lot more people see it. And so those 10 buyers may have gone out and seen it. It caused a bit of, hysteria. Oh, look at all these people that are coming to see this house. That could have caused, so they may have gotten more than they listed it for, or what they lowered it to, and possibly closer to where they originally listed it for. But because they changed that number, it opened it up to a new pool of buyers.
That's interesting. Another, what could have possibly happened, because we're just hypothetical because we don't actually know what it actually is closing for. But maybe, when you look at that backyard, it was a smaller backyard. It didn't have a pool, right? Yeah. So if other homes in the area have pools and they're listed at 1.25 or 1.3, and then you don't, and you're trying to compete with those others, then, it might be something where, based on feedback, buyers could have said, well, it doesn't have a pool, so I'll offer you, $1.05 million. Right.
They may not have gotten any offers, but what happens a lot of times is you've got this price out there, and now all the buyers compare your home to what else they can buy. So, okay, here's this house at $1.25 million. Now I've got to, so what else is competing with that? Oh, well, there's a similar home down the street that has a pool. Do you know how much a pool costs nowadays? It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's super expensive. A pool for a house like that is going to be $150,000 to $200,000 probably, right? Because
Wow.
you
Yeah.
have to. It has to be a pool that complements the property.
Mhm.
You can't put a little, what they call spool, right? It's a spa. It's a little bit bigger than a spa, not quite as big as a pool, so it's called a spool.
Right.
So it's
I've
like
never
an
heard of a spool
oversized,
before. That's interesting.
it's an oversized spa is what it is.
Right.
Okay. Spool.
Cool.
So you can't put that in there. I mean, this is $1.2 million,
Right.
$1.1 million, right? It's got to be an appropriate pool that complements the home.
Yeah.
So anyway, so they know that, okay, I'm going to spend this much, and then now I'm going to go have to put a pool in here. And now I'm going to be way up when I can take that. So that's how they look at it. They got house, pool. Now I'm here. Okay, what can I buy for that amount? Can I go buy a house similar to this with the pool for less? So they're using that house as the example of, okay, they're comparing all the other homes around it against it. So now you're the, I don't know what you want to call that, but scapegoat. I don't, it's not, they're using your home as the benchmark.
Yeah.
And they're comparing everything around it to it.
Right.
And so by lowering it to where now, okay, now if I buy it at this price and put a pool in, I'm at market value.
Yeah.
So when you're in that price point, they're pretty savvy buyers, you know, to be able to afford a home of that price point, you know, you probably have a pretty decent job, I would think. And you know, you might own your own company, but anyway, folks are pretty knowledgeable at that price point and are fairly savvy and can look at the situation and assess it and know that, okay, well, if I buy this one at this price, I'm going to go in with the pool. I'm over my budget. I'm over what I really feel comfortable doing. So,
right.